A woman is dead, 3 others in hospital after an early morning crash.
It sounded like a big transport truck had flipped over on its side.
Police investigate excessive speed and a driver going the wrong direction. Plus, what we're learning about a young woman brutally murdered.
This is tragic. It's horrible.
New details about 23-year-old Madison Cobb's life before she was killed. And much too close for comfort.
Got really large and it showed its claws and it felt like it was going to attack us.
Tips from a couple whose anniversary hike in K-Country turned terrifying.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Calgary police continue to search for the suspect in Saturday's parkade shooting in Haysboro. The incident claimed the life of 23-year-old Madison Cobb. As Tyler Barrow explains, so much remains unanswered.
A memorial has been set up for Madison Cobb, the tribute in an entrance of the parkade where the 23-year-old from Okotoks was killed. On Saturday, around 4:30 p.m., police responded to reports of gunshots being fired in this garage along Horton Road Southwest, just off McLeod Trail.
Upon arrival, we located a woman in her 20s suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite life-saving efforts, she was declared deceased at the scene.
Calgary Police Service say Madison Cobb was the targeted victim. CTV News has learned that just last month, a restraining order had been issued against a man known to Cobb. The man was ordered to stay away from her home and her place of employment. She worked at this Vision LASIK MD office. It is located just above the parkade where she was gunned down. In a statement, the company is saying, "We are deeply saddened to learn of the tragic death of one of our employees. Our thoughts are with her family, friends, and colleagues during this incredibly difficult time." Police are asking for the public's help, releasing this CCTV footage of a white Toyota RAV4 with a stolen British Columbia license plate leaving the scene. It had been parked in the parkade prior to the shooting.
Anyone who may have had contact with Madison in the days leading up to this tragedy or have knowledge or information regarding the shooting.
They are also calling on the public for dash camera footage from the parkade between 3 and 4:30 p.m. on Saturday, and those who were driving in the area around 4:15 p.m. when the shooting occurred. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
A pedestrian is dead and 3 people were taken to hospital after a crash early this morning involving a truck speeding in the wrong direction. The scene was chaotic and police need some help to put some of these pieces together. A warning, some viewers may find the content of this story disturbing. Jacqueline Wilson reports.
Chaos captured in the moments after a tragic collision in the city's northeast.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm done with this.
Witness Edmund Cole says the man sitting on the road next to the burned-out wreckage was driving a truck southbound in the northbound lane of 52nd Street Northeast. The collision left a woman in her 50s dead and 3 others injured early Monday morning. Cole heard the crash and called 911.
The gentleman and the driver was still in the vehicle at the time, all bloody, no shirt on, no nothing. I gave him a hand getting him out a bit, and then he didn't want help, and I was trying to get him away from the truck because it was on fire.
Police say the F-150 driven by the man was traveling at a high rate of speed when it collided with an SUV. A woman who was walking nearby was also hit and she died on scene. The man and woman in the SUV were taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries.
It appears that a pedestrian was struck shortly before the 2 vehicles collided. The pedestrian is deceased and we're still trying to identify the pedestrian. The driver of the main offending vehicle, a Ford F-150, is currently in hospital, as are the occupants that were in a Jeep Cherokee.
Initial evidence suggests the driver didn't attempt to slow down before the collision. The driver of the truck is in custody. Police say they do not believe the driver was impaired.
To anybody who may have seen the collision, who may have dash cam, to please come forward, because they may have a crucial piece of information that helps us with our investigation.
For Leah Cretin, witnessing such a tragedy has left a mark.
Love your loved ones, you know, I guess. Like that, just someone said goodbye to their loved one this morning and won't see them again.
And Jackie joins us from the scene of that collision tonight. Jackie, have any charges been laid?
Tara, police say that charges are pending for the driver of that truck who sustained serious injuries. And police say at this point speed is being considered as a factor in the collision, but they also say that impairment for everyone involved is not a factor. Back to you.
Okay, Jackie, thank you. The death of a man downtown this weekend is now confirmed to be murder. Police say 30-year-old William Harvey Chanel was killed in an apartment on 10th Street Southwest Saturday morning. Officers could be seen outside a parkade behind one of the apartments. Investigators do not believe it was a random attack. Anyone with information about William's death is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Mounties in Cochrane are asking for help finding a missing mother and her young daughter. They have not been heard from in nearly 2 weeks. 30-year-old Ashley Bartley and 4-year-old Marley Myers were last spotted in Cochrane on July 12th. Investigators believe they could be in the Vancouver area, and they're concerned for their well-being. The pair may be traveling in either a white Chevy Spark with Alberta plate CWH 6991 or a brown Chevy Silverado with Alberta plate CTK 2994. If you know where they are, you're asked to contact Cochrane RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Police have released a sketch of a man they say was involved in a hate-motivated assault last month. Police say this man approached a man and a woman at Southport Road and Southland Drive on June 24th. They say he hit the man and shouted a racial comment while they were waiting to cross the street. He then took off. Police say the suspect was wearing a blue T-shirt and black pants.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
Premier Daniel Smith is reacting to a report by the Globe and Mail that says one of its reporters is being targeted by an anonymous account online. The Globe and Mail posted its article earlier today stating reporter Carrie Tate has been followed and photographed in public settings. Those pictures were then posted online by an account called The Broke Down, which has now been suspended. The posts include pictures of Tate meeting with 2 former UCP political staffers. Smith says her government has nothing to do with it.
I condemn it. No one should be harassing anybody, and I don't comment on sock puppet accounts. I have no idea who's behind it, and so if there's criminal harassment, I hope that the RCMP finds them and punishes them to the full extent of the law.
Tate has published multiple stories about former AHS CEO Athana Matsalopoulos, who alleges she was fired for investigating private healthcare contracts handed out by MH Care. Premier Smith is in Ontario right now for a Premier's meeting. We'll have more on that a little later in the newscast. New numbers suggest a shift in how Albertans unwind. Fewer of us are doing it with a shot of alcohol. More of us by lighting up a joint. But as Kevin Green reports, it's not clear that those two trends are actually linked.
Statistics Canada says alcohol sales dropped by about 1.4% in Alberta through 2024, the steepest decline in the country. The polling company Ipsos tracks alcohol use across Canada.
So there is a double-edged, decline in what we're seeing. Lesser people are drinking, and those who are drinking less often.
The polling company also asked people why they drink less.
In general, they're kind of keeping track of their health and alcohol not being consumed because they are focusing on their physical and mental health.
Inflation is also a factor, according to Brock University business professor Michael Armstrong.
It's hard to find a good job. It's hard to afford housing. So if you ever get cut back on something, alcohol is an optional expense, a discretionary expense.
The founder of Toolshed Brewery saw the trend coming right in his own home.
You know, I have 3 sons in their 20s, and when they come out for a beer, they have a beer, and then they have a non-alc, and then they have a beer, and then they have a non-alc. It's very different than when I grew up. That was not the case.
Now his company makes an award-winning non-alcoholic beer, and its sales are soaring. You see the trend continuing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a craft brewery, we're looking at where the market is going. You always have to be looking ahead at where the trends in the market is going.
At the same time booze consumption drops, cannabis sales in Alberta are up 7%, rising to more than $760 million. The manager of Record High agrees economics are a big factor.
So people can get 4 pre-rolls for the price of a beer or 2. You know what I mean? So the experience can last longer for them. They can enjoy a product longer than maybe just a single drink or 2.
While it may be tempting to say cannabis is stealing alcohol's buzz, experts say it's more likely that legal cannabis is relatively new with greater growth potential than an aging alcohol market. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
And other reasons cited for a drop in alcohol consumption include changing guidance from the medical profession on alcohol consumption and tougher impaired driving laws. An anniversary hike turned into a close encounter with a grizzly bear for a Calgary couple. Jordan Canagan joins us with this one. Jordan, this just happened this past weekend in K-Country.
Well, Tara, the pair is glad to be unharmed after the frightening encounter, but they have made it out with a message. Always be prepared when in nature. Howard Ma and Lori Arneson were celebrating that anniversary this past Saturday with a hike before dinner. On their way to Troll Falls, they didn't see any other people, but they did come face to face with this grizzly. The couple had stopped to take photos when they spotted the bear coming towards them. They slowly walked away, but the bear followed them. They started picking up the pace, though, when the grizzly raised onto its back legs before lunging at them.
The bear initially was pretty, it just was following us, but it started getting a bit more aggressive.
It was so frightening when they did the lunges that, you know, I'm thinking, what do you do? What do we do? What if he charges? What do I do? What do I do? And like my life actually did like flash.
Now, the two admit they were not properly prepared and say they'll always carry bear spray when hiking from now on and make plenty of noise. They reported the encounter to Alberta Parks, and a bear warning is now in place for the area. Tara.
Okay, Jordan, thank you. Well, here's something we haven't seen in a while. Smoke has descended across Calgary again. The air quality index is currently at 5 tonight, which is considered a moderate risk. The smoke is moving in from wildfires in northern Alberta. Let's bring Danielle in now. We're also hearing thunder outside. So we got a little bit of it all today.
A lot going on here, Tara. And the good news with the smoke is that this rain that we're getting is going to help clean the skies. So it'll start to improve late tonight and through tomorrow and drop us down to the lower end once again, especially by late tomorrow when we're talking on that air quality index. However, we do have thunderstorms rolling through parts of the city right now, as you can see here, non-severe. So we're not looking at huge hail with this or extensive wind gusts, but we are looking at it getting a little windy as these push through, and we're looking at localized heavy rain and some lightning with this as well. So we've seen a lot of rain, more than the normal share that we get in July already. And there's more on the way. In fact, we could get another 30 millimeters of rain in the city when you count tonight through tomorrow. 17 degrees, so it's also cool and will continue to cool down. In fact, tomorrow we're just looking at a high of 11. So we're looking at barely getting into those double digits for tomorrow with a cold wind out of the north. Again, for the rest of this evening, overnight and through, especially tomorrow morning, rain will be heavy at times with the potential for embedded thunderstorms that could get us another 30 millimeters of rain. More details coming up, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. It has been a year since Jasper was engulfed in flames. The town and the province both respond to a new report about how the fire response could have been done better. And later, premiers and territorial leaders meet for 3 days to figure out ways to work better together ahead of a tariff deadline. Stay with us. People in the town of Slave Lake are being told to prepare for an evacuation due to a wildfire burning nearby. The fire is just northeast of the town, which is about 3 hours north of Edmonton. Everyone in the town needs to be ready to get out within 8 hours. There are currently 62 wildfires burning across the province. 16 are considered out of control. It has been 1 year since lightning strikes ignited a wildfire that overwhelmed the town of Jasper, burning a third of that community. Recovery is a complicated work in progress, and a recent report on the fire has fueled some political tension. CTV's Jeremy Thompson reports from Jasper.
The glow from the fire that hit Jasper was visible more than 80 kilometers down the highway that day. A wall of fire Parks Canada assessed at 50 meters high, propelled up the valley from the south by dry conditions and strong winds.
As the incident commander for the municipality of Jasper, I do believe there's nothing we could have done. There's no amount of resources or firefighters or air tankers that could have stopped that fire.
Crews tried to stop it. Fresh fire breaks, sprinkler systems, and teams on the ground couldn't stop homes and businesses catching fire from flaming debris raining from the sky.
You're always going to have an ember shower. Ahead of that fire will come the flying debris that will ignite something in your yard, something on your property.
Jasper is reviewing how the fire response could have been done better. An after-action report commissioned by the town and authored by 2 consulting firms was published last week. One small section suggesting the province disrupted the focus of incident commanders caught the ire of Premier Danielle Smith.
It took place in a federal park, and it was a Federal Parks Canada response. So whatever it is that they are trying to do to deflect blame, I'm not impressed with it, and I would ask for an apology.
We have always acknowledged our gratitude to the province for the support that they have provided.
No apology from Mayor Richard Ireland, instead offering a clarification.
It was not intended to ascribe blame, and it does not ascribe blame. It describes circumstances.
The Premier also criticized Parks Canada's forest management before the fire, calling the efforts poor.
Parks Canada maintains it has been properly managing fire risk in the forest around Jasper. This is one of the areas where crews have cleared out certain trees and a bunch of other fuel. It is expensive work, and Parks Canada staff say it's a fine balance between public safety and keeping the area natural.
We did have a lot of fire risk reduction work on the landscape prior to last summer's fire, but the month of July last year was simply off the charts in terms of the hot, dry weather.
Officials with parks and the town say the most practical improvement to reduce damage next time around is to get more people to fire smart their properties. Rebuilt homes will do that by default. The fire department is also rolling out a residential sprinkler system to be activated when the fire risk is high. In Jasper, Jeremy Thompson, CTV News.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada is asking the federal government to lead talks with provinces on Jasper's disaster recovery. IBC says that as of July 7th, officials have only issued rebuilding permits for 56 of the 358 buildings that burned down in Jasper. That is much slower than after the 2016 Fort McMurray wildfires. Now, part of the complication is the added regulation from the town being inside a national park. IBC says a lack of coordinated and standardized response is also an issue. The Bureau says delays are becoming an issue after large-scale natural disasters.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Well, hopefully all this rain, Danielle, will also help with forest fire situation.
Yes, it will help with that, especially through central and southern Alberta. And we're looking at it cleaning out the skies a little bit as well, so it'll be less smoky. We'll talk more about that in just a second. But let's just sum up the month of July so far and the amount of rain that we've seen. So a normal amount of rain for the month of July is 65.7 millimeters. And so far we've already had 101.8. So we're already well above normal. And we're looking at picking up another 30 millimeters, even just above that in the city of Calgary when we look at tonight through tomorrow. So that could pretty much almost double the normal for this month. So it's a lot of rainfall, as I'm sure you know, and the temperatures have definitely cooled down and they will continue to cool. Tomorrow will be just 11 for Calgary. We got up to 19 today. We're already down to 17 for the evening, so the temperatures are starting to drop off, especially because we have the rainfall pushing in and the thunderstorms, and that quickly drops our temperature as well. We're sitting at 18 in Medicine Hat, 20 in Brooks and Drumheller, and 15 in Milk River, 17 in Lethbridge. A lot going on out there. So we have a number of things happening. We have this cold front that's pushing down from the south. So that's dragging in the wind and the cooler air from the north. Also that smokier air as well. And it's going to kind of shift in from the east as well. So smoky conditions getting us to that moderate level, which is where we're sitting right now through this evening and early tomorrow morning as well. But then the rain will start to clear that out. We also have a stateside system that's pushing rainfall in, which will give us, these are basically colliding. So that's going to give us some consistent rainfall right through tonight and tomorrow morning. And we're also looking at an upper level trough. So a lot of this combined is why we're going to see some decent rain totals in many communities. Just to zoom in on what's going on along that cold front, we are getting that thunderstorm activity. And there you go, there's that cold front. So as we look at these next 12 to 24 hours, that will continually push to the south. We have that rainfall pushing in, or rainfall pushing in from the south as well. So we're looking at heavy rain at times. The bullseye area really looks Calgary and off to the west and through parts of Kananaskis. And even for the higher elevations along Highway 93, we are looking at rain mixed in with wet snow as well. In July, yes. Okay. Then by about the supper hours tomorrow, this will start to really taper off, just become some isolated rainfall here and there. The cloud cover will stick around, but it will move out by Wednesday. So Wednesday will be a brighter day and temperatures will get back into the 20s, but expect a cold, windy, rainy day for tomorrow until we get there. Again, that bullseye area where we're looking at the highest amounts is really from Calgary down through Claresholm and through Kananaskis, where we're looking at upwards of 30 millimeters of rain, but much less, as you can see in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, anywhere from 3 to 7 millimeters, because we'll be on the outside edge there. When we talk about air quality, this will continually be pushed out. It'll take a little bit of extra time for the southeast corner, so smoky throughout the day tomorrow. Longer range forecast for Calgary, again, just a high of 11, cold wind out of the north and heavy rain at times, clearing out by the supper hours. Sunshine for Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll get back into the 20s. In fact, even close to 30 by Thursday. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast.
There's been a big spike in new measles cases over the weekend. Alberta Health confirms 47 new cases across the province. About half of those are in the north, about half in the south zones. Calgary added 1 to its total. The number of confirmed cases in Alberta has now surpassed the 1,400 mark. Just ahead, warnings for women looking for love online. Several recent social media posts are warning women about convicted killers who are allegedly active on dating websites. Are those warnings fair? And well over 100 candidates are running against Pierre Poilievre in an upcoming by-election. Do any of them stand a chance? That's next. There is growing alarm online after recent social media posts warn 2 men convicted of killing women are active on dating apps in Alberta. The mother of one victim and some groups behind the warning posts say it's about protecting women. But legal experts say it raises ethical questions about privacy and vigilantism. Terry Fikowski has this exclusive report.
Ladies, be careful.
Warning circulating on social media about 2 men with violent pasts active on dating apps in Alberta. Women on Wings Society, a domestic violence support group, posted, "Ladies beware," after seeing a profile on Facebook dating for a man convicted of manslaughter and causing indignity to the body of a Calgary mother.
You know, if these women are not fully aware of the background of these men that are on these dating sites or who they're meeting, there's a lot of potential for danger there.
The victim's mother also worries women may unknowingly end up on a date with her daughter's killer.
Because to me, people don't change. Anyone that's been charged or incarcerated with causing bodily harm or causing death, they really should come with a warning.
Other posts, like this one by Lost Souls Media, warn of another man convicted of second-degree murder of a woman in BC, now living in Calgary and spotted on dating apps. But a criminal defense lawyer says these men have been released from prison and served their debt to society.
When they're done, they're done. And they are entitled to all the rights and privileges of any other Canadian.
How did he serve his time? He was sentenced to life in prison and did 7 years. He didn't serve his time.
CTV News is not identifying the men because while we've seen the dating profiles, we reached out to both men to confirm they were created by them and aren't fake accounts, but did not hear back. The social media posts are also concerning for this legal expert who worries they could lead to vigilante action.
There have been lots of cases where individuals have misidentified someone, done harm to the person they've misidentified, and then face criminal charges themselves. So it's rolling the dice, and I don't think they should be doing that.
But to some, the warnings are warranted if they could possibly prevent another tragedy.
Me, her kids, her family, we get life. We get life without her.
And Terry joins us now. Terry, you spoke with Calgary Police about this, so what did they have to say?
Tara, Calgary Police say anyone starting a new intimate relationship, regardless how they met, online or not, should take precautions. That includes meeting in a public space for the first time and letting someone know you trust about your plans. Try to verify information about someone you met online. Don't share sensitive information like your home address. And if something feels off, trust your gut. Now, because of Clare's Law, people can also contact police and ask whether they're at an elevated risk of domestic violence from their partner. We have more details on that process on our CTV Calgary website. Tara?
Okay, Terry, thank you. Calgary police say more than 25 Calgarians have reported being targeted in a photo radar and parking fine scam. Victims are receiving a text claiming they have an unpaid ticket and to click on the link to settle the fine. Calgary police and the government of Alberta say texts are never sent about paying tickets. That communication is always done by mail. If you receive one of these texts, do not click the link and do not provide money or personal information. More than 140 candidates will be squaring off against Pierre Poilievre in next month's Battle River Crowfoot by-election. While the majority are protest candidates, some believe they do have a chance. CTV's Mark Takash went to meet a few of them.
Running against the federal conservative machine, a tall task for independents like Bonnie Critchley.
It is very important to me that Battle River Crowfoot gets to have a voice in Parliament.
Critchley's run triggered by the resignation of the riding's former MP, Damien Currick.
When Damien asked us for a mandate, we gave him one. And then he turns around and says, I don't want that. Let's bring in the angry guy from Ottawa instead. And that just didn't sit right with me.
Currick won the riding in April's federal election with more than 80% of the vote. A few weeks later, he stepped aside so Pierre Poilievre could run after the Conservative Party leader lost his Ottawa riding in April. Now, Currick serves as Poilievre's campaign manager.
My wife, Danielle, and I decided that this was a way that we could serve our country, serve our province, and serve this region to ensure that those values are fought for by the Pierre Poilievre being back in Parliament as Leader of the Opposition.
Sarah Spanier is also an independent candidate who doesn't want to see Poilievre represent this riding.
I think it shows fear. If he's coming to the easiest riding, as we are labeled, he, in my opinion, doesn't feel like he can go secure that anywhere else.
She knows it's a long shot, but she believes beating Poilievre is possible.
When we get into a conversation and they actually take the time to listen and hear what I'm saying, it has turned into signatures. So I just have to do that 100,000 times in a month.
Some riding residents are divided on the effect candidates like Spanier and Critchley will have.
Absolutely, they stand a chance. They stand a chance to not get Poilievre elected. It worked in Ottawa. It would work here, I hope.
It's conservative. This is a conservative, but not totally crazy area.
Critchley thinks that may not matter.
82% of the voters voted for Damien. They didn't necessarily vote for the Conservative Party. They voted for the local guy who showed up for them.
Voters head to the polls on Monday, August 18th. Marek Takash, CTV News, Camrose.
RCMP say several candidates running in the by-election have received potentially threatening comments on social media lately. One independent candidate recently decided to stop door knocking because of death threats. Mounties say uttering threats, including online, is a criminal offense. Still to come, a tight squeeze for a mom and her babies. You better hang on. Our trending videos are just ahead. Okay, what do you think the chances of this are? Back in January, paleontologists began drilling under Denver's Museum of Nature and Science. They were hoping to learn more about the layers of rock underneath the building. To their surprise, they found a partial fossil of a dinosaur. It's small, it's only about as wide as the length of a golf tee, but scientists believe it belongs to a plant-eating dinosaur that lived 67 million years ago. Huh, that's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good. Look, a fossil.
A fossil. Who knew?
All right, well, ask any mom, and at some point, she will probably tell you she's felt like she's carried the weight of her whole family on her back. This little mama's doing it for real, though, every day. This possum, she's got to move her kids to and from, all 13 of them, to their next location. One of them falls off, but it catches up on its own.
Oh,
you got to be Velcro with a mama possum. You got to hang on tight.
Oh, no.
She doesn't leave without it.
Okay.
No mama would leave without the baby.
Right.
No. That's fine.
That's so cute.
Well, they say you can't teach an old dog. Okay, these smart pups, these clever collies are following the button's commands. They know everything, even how to count. And one's leading them.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Collies are pretty smart, though.
Yeah.
Well, you might think that their lives look pretty perfect, but even stars like David Beckham can have a bad day once in a while.
What have you done? What have you done?
The thing of the clippers fell off my head. Fell off my clipper.
Okay, David Beckham had a bit of an accident with the clippers.
Oh, no.
Left himself a bald patch on the top of his head. I think he was probably hoping for some sympathy from his wife, but he was not getting it. Victoria Beckham was killing herself laughing, had a field day with this, and said, oh, the content our kids are going to get out of this.
I wouldn't feel bad either. That's
no, you might as well just shave the rest of it now. It'll all grow back. Don't go out like that.
No, put a hat on.
Still to come, house prices are up in Lethbridge. Why that city now has the second most expensive homes in the province.
Here's your Skywatch weather camera, and the winds have picked up. The rain has rolled in. Thunderstorms in parts of the city, non-severe, but some heavy rain, some heavy pockets in some parts of the city. Yeah, it's a busy evening. And look at how quickly it's dropped the temperature. So we're now at 16 degrees. Our high was 19. Normal is 23. So we're below normal today, and we will be even cooler tomorrow. Just a look at temperatures is 15 in Drumheller, 16 in Banff and Calgary, 20 in Brooks, and that colder air is just starting to really filter down now. So all of these communities will be cooler tomorrow compared to today, and then we'll start to make our way back up. So we have a cold front pushing through, sparking up the thunderstorms, bringing in cooler air, some smokier conditions. We have the system tracking in from the States, all of that kind of colliding and making some messier weather for us, absolutely. So what we have is the potential of rain, heavy at times through this evening in Calgary, overnight through tomorrow morning, starting to lighten up a little bit in the afternoon hours, picking up a likely about 30 millimeters of rain in Calgary, and just a high of 11 for tomorrow. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fix right or it's free. Taking a dance around here, quieter tomorrow in Kelowna, Salmon Arm and Kamloops, where it looks a little drier and warmer. 19 for Edmonton, and then south of Edmonton is where we're looking at the rain. So basically Calgary over through Kananaskis and down through Claresholm is mainly the bullseye area with the system where we're looking at the heaviest amount of rain. And then outside of that area, we'll see lesser amounts here. But yeah, 30 millimeters possible. Calgary down to Claresholm over through Kananaskis. And then looking at that 10-day trend, tomorrow will be the coldest of the next 10. We'll bounce back to the 20s by Wednesday, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. One woman is dead and 3 people were taken to hospital after a crash this morning. The woman was crossing the street when she was hit by a pickup truck that was going the wrong way. 2 people in a Jeep suffered serious injuries. Charges are pending against a 25-year-old man. A young woman shot to death at a Haysboro parkade had obtained a restraining order last month. It was against a man that was known to Madison Cobb, who was gunned down steps from where she worked over the weekend. And it's a wedding anniversary. A Calgary couple say they will never forget. The pair came face to face with a grizzly bear that had followed and charged at them while they were hiking to Troll Falls in K-Country. Canada's premiers and territorial leaders are in Ontario cottage country for the next 3 days. They're talking trade, tariffs, and teamwork. They'll be joined by Indigenous leaders today and tomorrow by the Prime Minister. Here's Rachel Aiello.
Well, first of all, I want to welcome everyone.
Premiers today kicked off the annual Summer Council of the Federation meeting at a critical time for the country.
Right now, our economy in all Canada suffers because of the uncertainty.
Facing intensifying tariff pressure from the U.S. and a looming deadline to reach a new trade deal, premiers have come to cottage country to work together to find ways to drive Canadian prosperity.
How are you feeling, Premier? I'm feeling fantastic.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is hosting the 3-day meeting and started it off calling for a revived Buy Canadian push in every province and territory.
Start buying Canadian-made everything. We are an economic powerhouse, and we don't have to take a backseat to anyone.
Beyond buying local, premiers say Canada needs to build. And so today they met with Indigenous leaders to talk about moving major new nation-building energy and infrastructure projects forward, an effort to find a way to get to a yes faster, while still ensuring First Nations leaders are consulted.
It's time now in 2025 that First Nations are at the table and that we have a bigger seat in this country.
Provincial and territorial leaders are also aiming to advance internal trade pacts, while here, carrying on with work they've been doing this year to break down domestic barriers and find new markets.
These are all steps. They're steps in the right direction. We need to have free and open trade between our provinces. We need to have free and open trade on our continent with the U.S. and Mexico.
Tonight, premiers will be having dinner at Ford's nearby family cottage, a private planning session ahead of a big meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney tomorrow. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Huntsville, Ontario.
The city is looking at turning the former Aurora Business Park in northeast Calgary into a new neighborhood. The area has been given the Indigenous name Natu Sinibi after an honored Blackfoot elder. The northern two-thirds of the green space is set to become a transit-oriented community under a new area structure plan. Up to 7,300 new homes could be built here in the future. The southern third will be preserved as a large green space with Nose Creek running through it.
I've never seen an area structure plan that has as much green space as this one does. And so, we really recognize the importance of the green space to the community. It is acting as a park, and there's a lot of environmental reserve. I also brought a notice of motion last year to do the Nose Creek Park strategy, because I think the residents are correct that we, if we're going to put more people here, we need to be thinking more directly about preserving the environment.
In addition, the Glacier Ridge area structure plan was approved for Ward 2. Both plans will go back before council in September. Canadian stocks traded just shy of a record high today as bank stocks climbed to a fresh record. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell.
Hello there. Toronto's composite stock index ended today slightly higher at just over 27,300, only just down from last Thursday's record high close, as banks, including CIBC and Bank of Montreal, hit record highs. Toronto was also pushed higher by gold miners as bullion hit its highest in a month, amid fears that tariffs will keep inflation high and make interest rate cuts less likely. South of the border, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ composite stock indexes hit records as investors wager that strong corporate earnings will prop up stocks. The Canadian dollar traded at 73.07 US cents, up about 1/5 of a cent. West Texas Intermediate oil was at $65.95, down 10 cents. Our latest fix on Western Canadian Select Oil has it at $53.39, down $1.28. And the TSX Composite ended at 27,317.0, up just under 3 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Here's a stat that may surprise you. Lethbridge now has the second most expensive housing prices in all of Alberta. But some experts believe new home builds could help bring housing costs down. Quinn Keenan explains.
In June, Lethbridge real estate prices jumped 9.3% year over year to nearly $440,000 across all property types, according to a report from the Alberta Real Estate Association. Lethbridge now only trails Calgary, which has properties selling for nearly $600,000 on average.
There are some factors in Lethbridge that I think are affecting the value here. So I think it's a combination of the types of homes that are currently selling and a little bit of kind of what's happening in Lethbridge.
One of the biggest drivers in Lethbridge's price jump is a lack of supply. The city only has about a month and a half of supply of homes on the market. That lack of inventory is being caused in large part by people moving to the city.
You know, if you rewind time, I've been doing this for 15 years. If you rewind time even 5 years ago, you didn't get too many BC or Toronto phone calls coming in. But now you see a 416 area code, you'll kick your kids over to answer it because you know that's someone that just sold a place for $1 million in Toronto and they want to buy here.
The province says it's trying to speed up the home building process by cutting red tape to encourage more home building. So far this year, Alberta has seen 30% more home starts than last year. The Lethbridge Census metropolitan area saw 26% more home starts.
We're definitely seeing a strong start, 26% over last year, and last year was a really strong year. We haven't seen this first and second quarter this strong for the last decade, with the exception of 2022.
More homes on the market doesn't necessarily mean prices will drop soon. An influx of people moving to Lethbridge could offset any changes from more homes being on the market.
There's so many factors that affect that new home price, but it's nice to see that it has leveled off. That's great for the community to see. Again, there are different factors that affect that, but we are on par last year, so we're not seeing those crazy crazy increases we saw the last few years.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
A researcher at Lethbridge Polytechnic has a pretty sweet assignment. Find ways to store sugar beets so they don't lose their sweetness. Rajpreet Gorea spent years analyzing how ice cream can be made with underutilized crops like Indian gooseberries and orange peels. She is now researching new long-term storage options for sugar beets. Her research aims to provide producers with another revenue source to reduce crop risk and increase revenue streams.
We are successful in preserving our sugar beet crop for more than a year, but we only claim for 6 months for that. So we are good to go with that. Like, we can preserve it, and then they can use it in different products.
Sunday marked National Ice Cream Day, and she is hoping her research will spark conversations about food sustainability, health, and innovation. A big win for a Calgary golfer this weekend. The 15-year-old took top spot at a junior championship in Atlanta. We have those details next. Scottie Scheffler is now a 4-time major golf champion after a dominant win at the British Open. The world's #1 golfer dominated the tournament, shooting a 68 to win by 4 shots. It's Scheffler's 2nd major victory of the year after the PGA Championship. Now he goes to the U.S. Open next year with a chance to complete the Grand Slam. A teen with Calgary connections has made Canadian junior golf history. 15-year-old Aphrodite Deng won the U.S. Girls Junior Championship over the weekend in Atlanta. The Calgary-born golfer is the first Canadian to accomplish that feat. With her victory, Deng will receive an exemption into next year's U.S. Women's Open and will likely get invited to the amateur women's tournament at Augusta. Disappointment for tennis fans in Canada. The National Bank Open is set to kick off with qualifying next weekend in Toronto, but some of the biggest stars will be no-shows. Italy's Jannik Sinner and Serbian legend Novak Djokovic are out as they recover from the Wimbledon tournament. British #1 Jack Draper has also withdrawn because of an arm injury, and late this afternoon, Carlo Alcaraz also announced he will not be coming. Let's bring Danielle in for one last peek at the wet forecast.
Yeah, and you know, when you get this much rain for this many days, you wonder, can my house hold up to this, right? So let's hope all our houses do, because there's another 30 millimeters, maybe even a little more than that in Calgary on the way tonight through tomorrow. The bulk of it overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. 11 degrees is our little cold high tomorrow as well. So it's a chilly, windy, rainy day for tomorrow, but Wednesday and Thursday look bright and warm, as you can see, especially Thursday when we get close to that 28 mark. Okay, and Weather Window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And Brad Burrows sent this one in. This was taken Friday, but kind of the story all last week and to kick off this week. So Brad, thank you very much for sending this in. And again, brighter days ahead.
It could have been taken 20 minutes ago.
No, you're right.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.